The title of today's talk is why you should create a predictable lead generation machine using Google Ads for your private lending company. So for those of you that are getting into private lending and expecting to do the onesie twosies, number of deals per month, probably not for you. But if you're doing the onesie twosies and eventually you want to be doing 10, 20, 100 deals per month, this is the workshop you want to be in. First thing I want to address is why you should listen to me, why you should even care. Who am I? Why you should listen to this Nick guy? Well, I've used digital marketing to acquire more than 100,000 paying clients in the financial space. I've made the Inc. 5000 list 3 times for fastest growing private companies in the United States. We've generated millions of dollars in revenue and profits using online marketing in the financial space. And now I help other entrepreneurs do the same with my marketing agency, Realtop. P.S. I did your job. I ran multiple call centers in the residential space for lending. I was a real estate agent, and finally I was a commercial lender. Let's dive into it. So before we begin, I want to address some common questions, some acronyms. We have a lot of acronyms in this room, and some rules. So the first question I want to address is, why would I ever pay for Google Ads when I can get Google leads for free organically? This is a big one that we get. People will reach out to us and say, hey, I want to get found online on Google, but I don't want to pay for it. In which case I'll remind them of something. Google is a for-profit company. 2022, $224 billion from Google Ads revenue. They're not making money on Gmail. They're not making money selling those Pixel phones. Nobody buys them. Okay, they're making money primarily through ads. I want to give an example here. Okay, the real estate above the fold. Do any of you know what above the fold means in Google terms? Above the fold is simple, right? If you guys do any Google search right now, the stuff that you see before you start scrolling, that's above the fold. And what you'll find, this is a simple Google search for digital cameras a decade ago. And what you'll find is, see the stuff in green? These are the organic listings. This is the stuff you didn't pay for if you had a business, right? And the stuff in red, these were the ads, okay? Now watch this. You do a Google search today. Look at above the fold, okay? Sponsored ads, 1, 2, 3. Before you even start scrolling, all you see is sponsored ads. And not only that, the sponsored ads really do look like organic listings. Why is this? Google is for profit, okay? Like all of you. I get this too, but nobody ever clicks on those ads, right? Like, why would anyone click on an ad? They know it's an ad. And here we have some more statistics. ChatGPT gave us this one. So Google Ads received approximately 65% of clicks for high commercial intent keywords, okay? And I think it's important if you're a business owner and you're doing online marketing, this might be one of the most important things you learn right now. There's commercial intent traffic and there's informational intent traffic, okay? Commercial intent traffic is when someone's looking for a business or service. For some of you that are old enough to remember the yellow pages, that was commercial intent traffic. You needed a plumber, you went to the yellow pages. Plumber, you were doing business. And the plumber that made the most money in the town typically was paying the most money for the ads in yellow pages. That's commercial intent traffic. Informational intent traffic, which actually is the majority of traffic online, I'm looking to learn something, okay? I'm studying, I'm researching, do-it-yourselfers. That traffic is typically wasteful, okay? The majority of commercial intent traffic is going to Google Ads. Are you saying we should quit doing SEO? I have a lot of business owners I speak to. They've spent the last decade working on optimizing their site organically. Should you quit doing it? Well, I have a quick little story, okay? SEO is important. Here comes the story. This is me circa 2012, a little heavier. I'm in this red Ferrari that was not mine. This was actually a Groupon. that I got. Ferrari day, good time. Life was good, okay? I was crushing SEO for my own financial services business. I was ranking #1 organically. I was getting lots of clients for free. Then, one Saturday, Google shuffled the deck. This is what I mean. Google from time to time will actually, what I call shuffle the deck, this is not an official Google term, they'll change their algorithm, okay? They never give us a clear reason why, but they do this, okay? That Saturday morning, can't read this, it's a little fuzzy, the algorithm change was called Penguin, okay? I had 10 salespeople working for me at the time, and this penguin, the sweet little penguin, this algorithm changed, completely tanked all of my rankings. Why? I don't know. Google wouldn't tell me. Google doesn't pick up the phone. They're Google. My organic rankings dropped to the second page. Eventually they recovered, okay? But the second page is useless. 6% of clicks are going to the second page. You might as well not be doing anything. So for any of you that have been working on your organic rankings for a decade and you're still on the second page, don't waste your time anymore, okay? I was 48 hours from destruction. This was not the picture of my office, but it was gonna look like this on a Monday when all my salespeople were gonna walk out. And then Google Ads saved the day. Quick thing, I took those keywords that I was ranking #1 for, ran ads, and we were generating leads by Monday morning, okay? Pay to play, that's business. Lesson learned, never forget the Andy rule. There's no free lunch in America. This is Andy. Andy works at my father's restaurant. He's been there for 20 years. And the first week he came to the United States from Greece, he kept saying this over and over. There's no free lunch here. There's no free lunch in America. He would say this over and over. Everywhere you go, you're paying for something. You all paid to be here for the most part. And if you got a free ticket, you probably still put some gas or electricity in your car to get here, right? You paid a toll to get here. There's no free lunch in America, and the quicker we can realize this, the quicker we can scale our businesses, okay? This is a quote I put out there for prospective clients. In order to responsibly grow and scale a company, you will need to create a predictable client acquisition machine. And I emphasize the word responsibly. So imagine I have 10 employees working for me on a Monday. They were going to come in with no leads. They would just get fired. Is that fair to them? No. So we need to be creating predictable marketing machines if we're going to scale up our businesses. Okay, where every day we know we're going to spend XYZ, it's going to produce XYZ number of leads, XYZ number of clients, and we're going to be able to afford our payroll. Okay, if we're building a business, there's a difference between being self-employed and owning a business and creating an enterprise. Two different things. Okay, every real estate agent that's getting a 1099 is self-employed. It doesn't necessarily mean they're an entrepreneur. They could be an intrapreneur, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're building and scaling an enterprise. Now let's jump into some acronyms. I know you guys love acronyms in the lending space. The first acronym that I want you guys to make note of is a very simple one. It's going to be cost per lead. Okay, it's not as important as this next one. This is the big one. CAC. A second acronym is CAC, cost to acquire a customer, okay? We need to very clearly define this. What are we willing to pay to acquire a customer, okay? And then the last but not least is a different type of LTV than what you guys are used to. This is lifetime value. When you acquire a customer, what is the lifetime value of that customer, okay? The big boys, okay? The big girls, the big companies. This is where they live, guys. Everything is CAC versus LTV. So if you're in hard money lending, you're building a real estate business, doesn't matter what business you're in, okay? You could have a coffee shop. What are you paying to acquire that customer, and how much are they gonna be worth to you over the life of that client relationship or customer relationship, okay? If I can acquire a customer for $100 and they're gonna pay me $1,000, that's a pretty good deal. Business is simple. How much are you willing to pay in marketing to acquire a customer? CAC. What is the LTV of that customer? And spit out a ratio. You know, how healthy is that ratio? Are you spending $1 to acquire a customer and The customer is only worth $1, probably a pretty bad ratio. Look at companies like Starbucks. You ever wonder why they're spending millions of dollars on these locations? It's CAC. They know they're going to spend $1 million on a location. They're going to spend a ton of money on rent in a high traffic area. They're going to run some commercials, but for the most part, their retail location is part of that CAC equation. And they know someone's going to come in, have a cup of coffee, get addicted, and they'll be back. And that LTV could be, $1 million in caffeine. So this is the important statement you need to make. I'm willing to pay insert CAC in marketing to acquire a customer. That customer on average will generate, insert that LTV in revenue. Now let's make it rain. I'm going to give you guys a case study, and I'm going to leave you with that of someone else in the private lending space that we helped scale very, very quickly, okay? There is a simple term that we look for when we talk about scaling hypergrowth, and it's that hockey stick, right? That trajectory typically goes something like this, shoots up. And with paid ads, you can accomplish that. So this private lender came to us. They wanted to set up an automated marketing machine that is scalable and predictable for generating private lending leads. Very simple, right? We set up a Google Ads campaign for them. And by the way, we did SEO for them as well, okay? But it wasn't a core lead generation system. It was Google Ads. And these were the results, okay? Over the course of, I believe this was 6 months, we generated more than 300 leads at a cost of $109 per lead, okay? That is your CPL right here. Okay, this is directly from Google. This is a snippet right outside of their reporting, okay? And this is how it played out. 303 leads. This actually converted higher, but we're being conservative here. 15% of those leads turned into a deal. Closed loan. 45 closed loans, and then we take 303 leads times $109, they spent about $33,207 in ad spend. Their CAC, okay, if we took their ad spend and divided it up by the number of deals they actually closed, they had a cost to acquire a customer of $734. 45 deals closed, average revenue was about $10,000. So they generated $450,000, okay, or they spent $33K to generate $450,000 in revenue. This here, this is a mistake. In the presentation, we put this $450,000 as the LTV. It's incorrect, okay? This owner, we work very closely with, and we know for a fact that 80% of his borrowers, they come back again within 12 months with another project. This LTV is a lie. This LTV, if we were to just multiply times 2, let's assume that everyone did 2 deals over the course of the lifetime of the relationship, which is probably very, very low. For some of you that are in this space, you may have the same borrower borrowing from you for a decade, okay? But let's multiply times 2. We have a $33,000 ad spent to generate, close to $1 million in revenue, okay? Those are great numbers. How we did it, here's some boring stuff. Click blocking systems, new Google Analytics reporting, call tracking, negative keyword list, leave that to the nerds. And this is their testimonial, very nice. And I'm going to leave you with one last thing. The ROI, if done correctly, very similar to real estate, is infinite, okay? This is something my dad taught me. This is my dad, Nick. He said to me once, he said, "Son, you're playing with the house's money now." I don't understand this. I remember walking into his restaurant, and we were sitting in the back, and he said, "Hey, how's business?" And I was like, "Dad, we're cranking. We did 1,000 new clients this month." And he said, "Well, why do you look so stressed?" I was like, "Well, I spent $100,000 in advertising. This is stressful as heck. This is a lot of money. I can't be spending money like this anymore." And he said, "You're not. It's not even your money anymore." And I just looked at him like, confused. What are you talking about? It hits my credit card every day at a tune of, $3,000 plus. And he said, "No, you've been doing this for what, 6 or 7 years now?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, so you made your money back, what, 6 or 7 years ago?" He goes, "Your initial investment, you got back, okay? You're playing with the house's money now. the money you made off of those clients, off of that first investment in your marketing, you've been parlaying into more and more and more clients, parlaying those profits into more clients, but your initial investment is back in your pocket, correct? And I was like, yeah, you're right, because you're playing with the house's money. For those of you that have been to, I think the last conference was in Atlantic City. For those of you that have ever gambled, I want to put it in these terms. If you bring $1,000 to the craps table and you make $2, what do? You turn around to your wife and you say, sweetheart, take this $1,000, drive it home. It's the first thing you do. Why? Because at that point you've protected your downside and you're playing with the house's money, and it's only upside. And if you invest in marketing correctly, that's what you get, only upside. The question really isn't, the question beyond what is your cost to acquire a customer versus your LTV, the question beyond that is actually far more important is how quickly can I get back my initial investment so I can start playing with the house's money. And then we can scale companies very, very quickly. Without investors, without borrowing money, you could hit the Inc. 5000, you can make millions of dollars, and you can live a pretty good life.